Hey everybody, we are going to read this nonfiction book today. It's called Flashy Flamingos. Okay, sorry, let me move my mouse here so that little thing goes away. Okay, never mind. Sorry. All right, Flashy Flamingos. So we're going to be learning today about flamingos. Remember that a nonfiction book is a book that is teaching you something, okay? It's not just meant to entertain you or just a story to enjoy and listen to. It's really one where they're trying to get you to learn things. So we are going to be learning about the flamingos today. Here we go. Remember, here's our table of contents, which tells us what we're going to be learning about on each page. On page 1, we're going to read about an interesting bird. Page 2, we'll read about where in the world. Where in the world? We're probably going to talk about where flamingos are found in the world here. Page 3, young flamingos. Oh, like babies. Page 4, gang's all here. I wonder what that was about. I'm not sure yet. Page 5, what's for dinner? Page 6, did you know? Well, maybe we'll learn some interesting facts about flamingos on this page. Page 7 is the glossary. Remember that the glossary is where they explain what words mean, what certain words mean, okay? Here's an example. Do you see this word over here? It says captivity. Do you see how it's darker than the other words? It's called bold. When we have a dark or a bold word like this, we know that we'll find it in the glossary on page 7. So on page 7 in the glossary, we would find out what the word captivity means. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start reading An Interesting Bird. While I read, I want you to listen for things that you're learning about flamingos that you didn't already know. Okay, here we go. The flamingo is a wading bird. It has a long neck and long legs. It is known for its bright pink feathers and the way it stands on one leg in the water. His webbed feet allow him to balance in the muddy waters. In the wild, flamingos live between 20 and 30 years. When they live in captivity, they can live for up to 50 years. Wow. I'm going to take my marker here and I'm going to underline something that I learned on this page, something that I didn't already know. Okay? Something that I didn't already know was that in the wild, flamingos live between 20 and 30 years. Okay? They have pretty long lives for birds. Could I have underlined, it has a long neck and long legs? Is that something that you think I learned about flamingos, or do you think I already knew that about flamingos? I'm going to tell you, I already knew that about flamingos. If you know anything about flamingos, you probably know that they're tall, they've got long legs and necks, and that they're pink, right? That's what most people know about flamingos. So when we're underlining with a marker or with a highlighter, we want to make sure that we're not underlining things that we already knew. I already knew that the flamingo has a long neck and long legs. I already knew that it has bright pink feathers. What I didn't know is that it lives between 20 and 30 years in the wild. All right. Let's look at this word captivity really quick. The word captivity, it says when they live in captivity, they can live for up to 50 years. Wow. I'm going to go to the glossary and I'm going to find the word captivity. It says it's a term to describe keeping wild animals in a closed area. So that's kind of like a zoo. It could be like a zoo. There's other places that are considered captivity too. But so if you were thinking of a flamingo that lived in a zoo in captivity in a closed area, so not in the wild, they would live for even longer, up to 50 years. It's also something I didn't know. All right. Be listening for things that you did not already know on this page, and we'll find something to underline. It says, where in the world? There are 6 different kinds of flamingos. The greater flamingo can be found in Africa, parts of Europe, and Asia. The lesser flamingo lives in Africa and Asia. The American flamingo is easy to find on the islands of Cuba, Aruba, and the Bahamas. When flamingos are found in the wild, it is in areas of large, shallow lakes, lagoons, mangrove swamps, and sandy islands. Most of the time, if flamingos are seen in the United States, it is in captivity. So in those places, in those closed areas like a zoo. Okay, I can say that I did not know any of the information on this page. I did not know where to find flamingos in the world besides at the zoo. That's the only place I've ever seen them is at the zoo. So I could pretty much underline anything on this page and it's going to be something that I learned. One thing that I thought was most interesting is that most of the time, if a flamingo is seen in the United States, it is in captivity. It's in the zoo. So that I did not realize that flamingos aren't necessarily seen in the U.S. in the wild. Okay, they're only seen at places like the zoo for the most part. All right, next page. What's for dinner? I think we're going to find out what they eat. The flamingo has an interesting way of eating. He will suck in muddy water to his beak. He will then push the water and dirt back out of his beak. He's able to capture the food this way. Some flamingos like to eat small plants, while other flamingos eat small shrimp. Hey, I knew that from Sylvie. And insects. It all depends on the shape of his beak and what he can hold in his beak the best. The color of a flamingo's feather completely depends on his diet. Ooh, there's another word that we would find in the glossary. His diet. Let's quick look at what that word means. Diet. The kinds of foods an animal eats. Oh, so it's just what he eats. The food that many flamingos like the most are rich in something called carotenoids. The plant pigment is also found in carrots. If you only ate carrots, your skin would turn orange too. Wow, did you know that if you only ate carrots, your skin would turn orange too? I didn't know that. Okay, so something that I didn't know on this page. You know what I didn't know that I found very interesting? I didn't know that when flamingos eat, that they suck in, it says, he will suck in muddy water to his beak, and then he will push the water and dirt back out of the side of his beak. I did not realize that when they take in food from the ocean or from the water, that they're sucking in all the dirt and water, and then they push out the dirt. Okay. It's not the way I want to eat my meals. I don't want to eat with dirt. I don't know about you. All right, next page. Did you know? Oh, look. These are called bullet points. So each bullet point here is going to tell us a different fact, a different thing about flamingos. Here we go. First one. When you see a flamingo bending its knee, that is actually the flamingo's ankle. Huh, I definitely didn't know that. Next one. When a flamingo stands with one leg pulled up beneath him or her, this is thought to conserve body heat. Let's find what the word conserve means. To conserve body heat means to protect, okay? It also means like to save. So they're trying to protect or save their body heat. That's why they stand on one foot. The flamingo is the national bird of the Bahamas. The greater flamingo grows to about 5 feet tall and weighs only 8 pounds. That's really tall, but it's not very heavy. All right, I'm going to underline this first fact. I thought that was very interesting. When you see the flamingo bending its knee, that is actually the flamingo's ankle. All right, young flamingos. Next page. Oh, look at that baby. Flamingo chicks will grow in their eggs for about a month. Their parents will take turns incubating them. Sitting on eggs to keep them warm. Oh, their parents sit on them to keep them warm when they're in their eggs. Chicks that have just hatched will have white or gray feathers and swollen pink legs. Mother flamingos are one of only 3 birds that produce milk. Produce means to make. Oh, okay. So they make their own milk to feed their young. After about 7 days, chicks may adventure out of their nests, but they stay with other groups of chicks. This group is called a creche. Creche? I'm not sure what this word is, but I think it says creche. After about 11 weeks, chicks will begin to grow their flight feathers, but they will begin swimming even earlier than that. Let's see. What's something that you learned on this page? I want you to pause the video and think about one thing that you learned that you didn't already know on this page. If you can't think of anything, I want you to rewind the video a little bit and listen to me read it again. Then I want you to think of your fact, the one thing that you learned. Okay, so if you've unpaused the video and you're still listening, that means that you have thought of your fact and you've said it out loud. All right, the fact that I learned is that, let's see, mother flamingos are one of only 3 birds that produce milk. I did not know that flamingo mommies make their own milk to feed their babies. Next, gang's all here. Flamingos are very social birds and will sometimes gather in groups of 1,000 or more. Holy cow, that's a lot of birds in one place. These groups are oftentimes called flocks. The flock is a way to protect themselves from predators. It also helps flamingos find the best food. Within these very large groups, they will break into smaller groups called colonies. The smaller groups are meant for finding mates. The smaller groups sometimes have a dance where they stretch their necks and shake their feathers at the same time. I'd like you to pause the video and think of your one thing that you learned. And if you don't know, go back and listen to me read it again. Okay, if you're still listening, that means you've thought of your one fact. My one fact that I'm going to underline is that flamingos sometimes gather in groups of 1,000 or more. That's so many flamingos, and I did not know that. All right, here's my glossary. We've already read all these words. We already learned what they meant. And that's the end of my book. I'd like you to pause the video and get out this worksheet right here. Okay, find this and come back. Okay, so flamingos. We're going to write 2 of the facts that we learned from our book. I'm going to pick 2. You don't have to pick the same 2 facts that I do. We underlined lots of things in this book. Let me go back and read everything that we underlined. All right, on this page, I underlined that in the wild, flamingos live between 20 and 30 years. On this page, I underlined that most of the time, if flamingos are seen in the United States, it is in captivity. Over here, I underlined, he will suck in muddy water with his beak and then push the water and dirt back out the side of his beak. On this page, I underlined that when you see flamingos bending their knee, it's actually their ankle. And on this page, I underlined that mother flamingos are one of only 3 birds that produce milk to feed their babies. And in this last page, I underlined that flamingos sometimes gather in groups of 1,000 or more. Okay, so I'm going to pick 2 of those things to write down. I think I'll write the last one that I just read about flamingos gathering in groups of 1,000. That's so many. So fact 1 is what this says. Fact 1. I need to write down that flamingos I know how to spell flamingos because it's right at the top of the page. Flamingos gather in groups of 1,000. That's how you write the number 1,000 or more. Okay. If you'd like to write this fact, you're welcome to. If you remember one of the other facts that I wrote down in this book and you want to write a different one, you could write a different one. Okay, pause the video while you write. I'm going to move to fact 2, so when you're ready, you can unpause. The other fact I think I'm going to write is, let's see, what did I learn? Oh, I know. Mother flamingos are only one of 3 birds that produce milk. So I'm going to shorten that a little bit. I'm going to say mother. Make sure you're using your best handwriting on this, by the way. Mother flamingos produce or make. Remember that produce means make. All right, make their own milk. Okay, mother flamingos make their own milk. Pause the video if you'd like to write this fact. If you want to write one of your own, you're welcome to do that too. All right, come back when you're ready to move on. I have a couple of vocab words that I want to show you from the book Sylvie. Okay, the book Sylvie uses these 2 words, delicious and bouquet. Okay. Delicious means very tasty. Okay, I don't want you to draw or write anything. This tells you to draw something. We're not going to actually draw it, but I want you to think about it. It says delicious, very tasty. Draw the most delicious food you've ever tasted. The most delicious food? Well, the most delicious food I've ever tasted has to be... You know what? My favorite kind of cake is called cherry chip cake. It's the most delicious, and it has cream cheese frosting on it. It's so yummy. All right, that's the most delicious food I've ever tasted. What's the most delicious food you've ever tasted? Pause the video and think of the most delicious food. Okay, I'm going to move on to the word bouquet. Bouquet is a bunch of flowers that is put together in a beautiful way. So here's a picture of a bouquet. Again, we're not going to write this, but you're going to think about this. It says bouquet, a bunch of flowers that are together in a beautiful way. Who would you give a bouquet of flowers to, and why? If I were going to give a bouquet of flowers to somebody, I think I would give it to my husband, because since I've had baby Cooper, he has been so kind and helping so much around the house, and with my other daughter, he's been helping a lot. So I would give him a bouquet of flowers to say thank you. Pause the video and tell me who you would give a bouquet of flowers to and why. Okay, coming back to the last thing. You're going to get out this page right here. This page is a directed drawing. It's called, I'm going to teach you how to draw a flamingo. Here we go. I'm going to go a little bit quickly. If I finish faster than you're ready to continue drawing, you're going to pause the video whenever you need to catch up. Okay? So they already have a half circle, a semicircle here printed for you. We're going to start by drawing one straight line for the leg. I'm going to start here and draw it down. Okay. And you know how flamingos sometimes stand on one leg, kind of like in the book. You see how they're standing on one leg here? We're going to draw the second leg up a little bit, or bent. So I'm going to draw the second leg right here. I'm going to make it go down about halfway, and then I'm going to bend it back. Now it's standing on one leg. Okay? Next, at the top left-hand side, I'm going to draw a circle for the head. I'm not going to draw it super big because they don't have huge heads. All right, that's my best circle. Next, I'm going to connect the head to the body. And I'm going to kind of make curved lines like this. Flamingos have kind of curvy necks. They're so long. Okay, so there's the neck. Next, I'll draw the eye. And the beak. All right, remember, if I'm going too fast, you're welcome to pause the video, okay? Next, I'm going to draw this little line across the beak. A lot of the time, flamingos' beaks are like black on this part, and then they're a lighter color up here. I'll also draw its wings or its feathers. There's one. And then I'll make it so you can kind of see this other one. I'll just draw this one up a little bit. Okay. Last thing, I'm going to draw the hair. Do flamingos really have hair? I don't think they really do, but it makes your drawing look cute. Okay, so that's your drawing. The last thing we're going to do, actually, you know what? I think that's it. We're good. You have this page here. You don't need to do it. We're going to save that for another day. Or just not do it. All right, that's it. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. I know it's a little bit longer, but I hope you had fun with your drawing and that you learned some things about flamingos. I'll see you later.